Hello, everyone. In this lecture, we'll discuss for statement, right? So for statement is used just like while statement for doing repetition, actually. So the task that we are going to execute in repetition, we will use for statement for that, right? So the statements which are executed in repetition, we will keep them inside the for loop. So let's see the syntax of for loop. So here, for loop, we have to use the keyword for. So we have to use the keyword for, right? And then we have a parenthesis, right? So we have a parenthesis here. And inside parenthesis, we have three components. So the first component is used for initialization. And then we have a semicolon. Then we have second component, which is used to check some condition. If that condition is true, then all the statements that you are going to keep inside for loop, they will execute. So that Boolean expression you will keep here, okay? And then after semicolon, you will have the third component, which we will use to update some variable which we are going to use for condition, right? So that's altering statement. So then we have curly braces, opening curly braces and closing curly braces. And then we have a lot of statements are there. So these statements, they will be executed if the Boolean expression is true. If the Boolean expression is true, then you will see that statement 1, statement 2, and so on, they will execute. After their execution, your code will jump to altering statement, right? And there the variable or condition variable will be updated, and then again the Boolean expression will be examined. If the Boolean expression is true, again your code will execute statement 1, statement 2, statement n. Then it will go to again altering statement. The variable will be updated. Then Boolean expression will be evaluated. As long as the Boolean expression is true, as long as it is true or 1, all the statements that you are seeing here, they will execute. Once the Boolean expression is false, so then your code will jump here. It will execute the statement that is coming after the for loop, right? So if it is false or 0, right? Okay. So that's how basically the for loop works. So now let's basically see the difference between the for loop and the while loop that we have used earlier, right? So as we discussed that for loop and while loop, they are used for repetition, right? So whatever thing that you can do with for loop, you can also do these things with while loop, right? So how for loop is different from while loop? So in for loop, we have initialization, Boolean expression for condition check, and update statement. They're all together inside the parentheses. In while loop, the initialization part you will see outside the while loop parentheses. So initialization you will see before the while loop, right? And then inside the parentheses after while, you see the Boolean expression. If this Boolean expression is true, so whatever you have inside the while loop, they will execute, right? And the altering statement in while loop is kept at the end, basically. So altering statement that you are seeing here, it will be kept at the end. In case of for loop, you have it here, right? So here, once in while loop, when all the statement 1 up to statement n, they will execute, then you will see that altering statement will be executed. And that's how basically the while loop is different from for loop, right? So as discussed earlier, whatever things you can do with for loop, you can also achieve the same thing with while loop, right? So here, when I use for loop, when I use while loop, it depends on the situation, right? Scenario. So I use for loop when I'm sure that how many times, how many iterations I have to basically do for the given task, right? So that kind of situation where you are sure that how many iterations you want to do, so you can use for loop, right? While loop, when you are not sure that how many iterations your program will go, how many iterations you need, because the Boolean expression may true up to, let's say, 10 iteration, or maybe up to 1000 iteration. When you're not sure, so you can use while loop, right? But as we discussed that whatever thing you can do with for loop, you can also do with while loop. Whatever things you can do with while loop, you can also do with for loop. So in for loop, you see that we have three components, right? And these components, they are separated by semicolon. So we have one component which is used for initialization, and initialization happens only once. And then we have Boolean expression, and then we have a altering statement, right? So we have basically three components, right? All these components are optional, right? So for example, I may have something like this, for where my initialization part is empty, then my condition part is empty. I'm not giving anything here, and then I'm not giving anything here, right? So I may have a for loop something like this, right? So this is a valid statement which can be used for infinite loop, basically, because you have not specified any condition. So it can be used for for executing statements which are running for forever, right? So you can use that, right? So in this example that you are seeing here, so we have a for loop, and then we don't have initialization, right? So initialization may have done outside the loop, right? And then we have only Boolean expression, right? And then update statement is missing. So maybe update statement is appearing following the statements that we have inside the for loop, right? So the components for statement are optional, but semicolon must always be present to separate them, okay? So keep in mind. So now let's try to understand this through for loop through an example. Okay, so let's try to understand a for loop through an example here. So here I have a code which will display welcome to C++ couple of times, right? So let's check this code. Right. So in this code, you see that we have a variable I, which is integer, right? And then we have this for loop. So from here to here, we have this for loop, right? So in for loop, you look at the components. So we have here I is equal to 0, then I less than 5, which is a Boolean expression, which will give you 1 or 0 or true or false. And then we have an update statement, which will increment I by 1, right? So now you see that here I has been declared, and then we have for loop where I is initialized with 0, right? And then I less than 5 for Boolean expression, I plus plus for update statement. And then we have one statement inside the for loop, which is C out, welcome to C++, right? So now let's see how does this code work, right? So let's see when we are here, okay? When we are here in the beginning of for loop, so let me track this with the iteration, right? So let's say here we have iteration number. Then let's say we have value of I, and let's say we have this condition, okay? And then we have, let's say, output. Okay, so here in first iteration number 1, your I is initialized with 0, right? Okay. And then you have I less than 5, which is basically 0 less than 5, which is basically true, right? So this is true. So if it is true, then this code will execute, right? So you have welcome to C++, and then new line will come, right? Then what will happen? Then this, after executing this C out, welcome to C++, then your code will jump here. It will update I, right? So in iteration, so it will update I will become now 1, right? So in iteration 2, the value of I will be 1. And then you have Boolean expression 1 less than 5, which is also true. Then your program will display again, welcome to C++. It will execute, right? Okay. Then I will be updated. Now I will become basically 2, right? In iteration 3, I will be 2, 2 less than 5, which is true. Your program will display welcome to C++, right? Then I will be updated. I will become 3. So in iteration 4, I will become 3. And then 3 less than 5, true. And then it will display welcome to C++, right? Then after executing welcome to C++, again, you will come here. I will become 4 now. So in iteration 5, I is 4. 4 less than 5, which is true, right? So then your program will execute cout statement, which will display welcome to C++. Then again, your code will jump here. So I will become now 5, right? So 5, iteration 6, 5. I will become 5. 5 less than 5, which is false, right? So then your code will not execute cout, right? Then your code, once this expression is false, so your program will jump outside the loop, and then it will basically execute the cout statement, which says end of for loop, right? So now it will execute end of for loop, and then it will execute return, right? So that's how basically this for loop works, right? So you see that here initialization for I happens only once, right? And then this condition is evaluated every time before the code goes to the loop, goes inside the loop. If this condition is true, then code goes inside the loop. If this condition is false, the code doesn't go inside the loop, right? Once the program execute all the statements inside the loop, then it updates basically this I, right? So update statement happens. Then again, the expression, Boolean expression is examined. If it is true, then the code will jump inside the loop, right? So that's how basically for loop works, right? So let's have an example, working example in Visual Studio, okay?